All right, what is up, everybody? Sorry about that slight delay. I had to get my microphone ready. So, today I'm going to be introducing OBS Live. Well, OBS and OBS Live. This is going to be just a quick brush up on how to create a scene, add the sources to it, and then bring in some some overlays. We're going to also tap into Streamelements, and we're going to do some overlays as well. But yeah, without further ado, let us get started. So here I have an empty scene with an audio input capture. We'll just go ahead and delete that right now as well. There we go. Okay, so now you can see there's no sources here. We have an empty scene in this scene collection. If you guys don't know about scene collections, you can check out my other YouTube video on SLOBS, and I actually talk about those scene collections in there. So what we're going to do is with this blank scene right here, we are going to bring up some overlays. And these overlays are going to be used to Twitch notifications, subscriptions, all that type of stuff, but it's going to come from Streamelements. So if you guys don't have Streamelements, then I highly recommend getting yourself some Streamelements. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna try something here. We're going to, while you're here, I'm gonna add a source, and display capture is what I believe I want to add. So we're gonna add it. There it is. Okay, perfect. That's what I wanted. So I have window and game window in here, and those don't need to be there. This was from a previous tutorial. I apologize that I did not remove them. So we're going to remove those two items. Perfect. So now we have everything we need off yonder over her. So first off, we're going to want to go into Streamelements. If you guys don't have Streamelements, you can visit it via streamelements.com, and then you can set up your account and log in via Twitch or whatever streaming platform that you use to handle whatever streaming platform you use to stream on. That's essentially what I was going to say. So with that being said, we'll move on. This first one, we are going to create an overlay, and it's going to be for the alerts. Mine is called Twitch Alerts. So we are going to do a blank overlay. We want to start by clicking Create Blank Overlay. I always leave it at 1080p, always do. You can set it to 720 if you want. Mine, I normally leave it 1080. But this is now your overlay interface, okay? So we're going to rename this real quick, and we'll call it the Fang Scrolls Alerts. There we go. So now that we've named it, I like to hit save every now and then, just make sure I'm not screwing myself over. But we'll come over here to the left, and we'll click Add a Widget. Now the glorious thing about Streamelements is they already have widgets created, so you don't have to create every single widget yourself per se. And what I mean by so here, if you hover over alerts, there is this box called Alert Box. This alert box is centralized. It has every single alert that you would ever need that would occur via Twitch. And I would highly recommend that you use this specific one for all of your alerts. The rest of these you can dink around with and play with. Capagens for the emotes, Hype Cup, store redemptions, Hype Boss. It's all different alerts that you can add to your stream. So we're going to focus right now on Alert Box. So we'll click on Alert Box. Real quick caveat to this. So in SLOBS, I was talking about including browser sources. OBS is the exact same. And once we get this overlay created, I'll walk through step by step on how to incorporate that and how it is similar to SLOBS. But to start off, we're going to start with all of these alerts over here. Now, if we hit emulate and we do follower event, that is the standard follower notification that will pop up on stream once you include this browser source on your streaming platform. Obviously, a lot of us like to customize our own stuff, so we're going to click this cog right here, and it's going to bring out the options and the opens, okay? Look down below in the comment section. I'll post a link to the locations where I get all of my stuff for my streams, but it's Giphy and myinstance.com. So we're going to set the image, and as you can see, I have a whole lot of images here. This is my follower one that I use on my streams, so we'll just submit that one. So this is a GIF that I downloaded from Giphy, and then I uploaded it by clicking this little upload up here, and then I selected my files, added it, and then it immediately went to where it needed to go. So we'll just submit the follower one, and then you can also upload a sound. Default.ogg is what it is, and that's that blink sound. So we're gonna upload our own. As you can see, I have a whole bunch already. We'll come up here. Yeah, we'll just do that one because it's the holiday season. And then you can, so the it's MP3, OGG, WAV, or WebM, I think, are the audios that you're allowed to upload. But I would highly recommend adjusting this. If it sounds super loud in your headset when you download it, I would recommend dropping the volume just a tad bit, just to assist with that, so it's not blaring people's ears out. I've had that issue a couple times. So now that we have changed our image and we've uploaded a sound, we can do a layout. Now this layout column, it does picture on top, words on bottom. So if we were to hit save right now, we're going to emulate follower, that is what we would see. Sound and the video. Now the GIFs themselves play out for a specific amount of time. So you're going to have to come down here to the alert duration and kind of time everything out the way that you want it. I know my sound clip is about 6 seconds long, so I'm going to do 6 seconds, and then we're going to emulate a follower event, and we'll see if 6 seconds fixes it. Yep, there it is, 6 seconds, almost perfect. So you got to toy around with that alert duration down here, just to get that perfect shut off for the sound and the GIF at the same time. There's also row, which allows you to image and then text on, like, to the side of it, to the right of it. And then text over image. This one's a little tricky. I normally do column. And the reason why I do column is because you can then, we'll get into that. So moving on to alert message. Let's go down the line here before I confuse everybody. So we got our layout selected. I always leave it on column. It's the best setup for streaming. Alert message. Now, when people create these browser sources for you, like this alert box, the code inside of it already allows for variables, and the variable it's specifically looking for is square bracket name, curly bracket name, curly bracket is now following. So we can change this to say is now a freaking legend, and we can do emulate and follower event, and there it is. Mildred is now a freaking legend. Obviously you can't see because there's text on the GIF itself. So to caveat and work with that, we're going to come down here to text settings. It is the second to last one inside the alert box options over here on the left. We're going to click the arrow and open up text settings. And then wicked cool thing is you can choose a font. Now Clan Fangbone, we're all barbarians and stuff like that. So I use, did I really? Normally there's a, where'd it go? Interesting. There it is, Caesar dressing. So Clan Fangbone, this is the font that I use a lot, and then you can change the color of it too. And so since we're red and black over here at Clan Fangbone, we'll do that. And then we'll come down here to size. Now the size itself, you can change it if you want. I normally set mine at 33. It seems to be a good one for all of the overlays that I use. But again, all up to you. All up to you. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come, where did it go? So you can change the text shadow. If you want a text shadow, you can do a stroke around it, like an outline, bold it, italicize, underline, center it, left justify, all that funky jazz. But what we want to do is, because our follower event is overlapping some words, we want to move that that text. And so what we're going to do is top, and we're going to go -100. So that's going to take it even higher up on the actual image itself. So now if we do emulate and we do follower event, there we go. Now it says Fian is now a freaking legend. Thank you. So that actually worked out perfect. -100 from the top margin is exactly what we needed. So remember, when you get here, it'll probably be around -50 for the text, increasing that negative, meaning negative 51, 52, 53, 54, increasing or decreasing it, however you look at that, is going to bring it higher, and then the opposite will take it lower. So if you want, for example, if you want your text not here, but you want it down here, this is what the size of the browser source widget is this box right here. And we're looking at around 733 by 617 pixels right now. And so you have all of this room to put your image and your text in. But for now, check it. We're good to go. That is exactly what I needed it to do. You can customize the text and everything you want. We changed the color. Now, for the highlight, this is for the name of the individual. You can leave it at the blue, you can change it to purple, whatever you want, but I feel it's good practice to change the color of the name to bring emphasis and then change the text itself. Obviously, this isn't the greatest color for this, but again, it's totally up to you. So now that we have we've changed our image, we've uploaded our sound, we have our layout, we changed our custom text, we came down here and adjusted the alert duration to work with the amount of time that the GIF is running. And then we've come down here to text settings, chosen the font that we want, the size of the font that we want, and we changed the color of our text as well as the highlight, which is going to be the name of the individual that triggered the, so for example, if Doodle Flapper followed me on my stream, Doodle Flapper's name would pop up and that would be the highlight. And yes, I said Doodle Flapper. All right, advanced, we went over and we increased the number here from 50 to 100, negative obviously, to bring that margin from down here up to here, to where it's at now. And then you can also change the pulse over here too. Change the highlight text, the name, right here. So that is your follower alert right there. So good practice. We're gonna come over here and we're gonna hit save in the top right. It's gonna save it. And then we are going to click this little X right here to close the settings on the follower alert. So, subscriptions alerts. We're going to click the cog, and we're going to hit emulate, and we're going to hit subscriber event. Default subscriber event. All right. So, beautiful thing about Streamelements is it's so easy to use. So, what we're going to do is the same exact process as last time. So, my subscriber is Dana DeVito. And my upload sound is, where did it go? You know what, we'll just use this one because I like this one. So, right now, we're at 10 seconds. If we do, let's try 7. I'm just going to go off here. Name, let's change our text. Is now an oath taker. So, oath taker is what Clan Fengon uses to recognize subscribers to the channel, the Twitch channel. So we're going to do name is now an oath taker. 7-second duration. Then I'm going to come down here to text settings. And I'm going to choose Caesar dressing because that's our font. And we'll leave it as white. And then instead we're going to come down here to the highlight and we're going to change that to red. And so that's going to be that's going to be our highlight. The name will be in red and the rest of it will be in white. And then we're going to change our font to 33. And then, now that we have these all in place, we're going to come back up and do subscriber.
And then the lower said,
there's our audio. All right, so let's hit save. There we go. And one more time, just because I think I might have glitched this out by not saving like I should have. We're going to hit save one more time. Emulate subscriber event.
and
Nope.
then the lower
Oh,
said,
yes. That brings me to a very good point. I am very happy that that has done that the way that it did. So you'll notice we changed the image, but the default keeps coming up. That's because within Streamelements, there are different variations is what they're called. So notice I just clicked on subscriber event and it brought up the default, but it still had my audio and it didn't show my GIF. If we were to come over here to subscriber event 1,
and then
there
the
it
lower
is.
said,
So this is now, that is now the subscriber event. Okay, that is for 1. if you come down here on the left, you'll notice these settings apply to new subscribers that aren't gifted. Click variation settings below to resubs and gifted subs. So if you come down here to variation settings, there's a resubscriber, there's a gift subscription, and there's a community gifts, okay? You can delete all of these and just have default. So if we were to remove all of these right here, hold on. If we were to remove all of these right here and just delete down here, get rid of them, we would get rid of all the variations, and Streamelements would default to the one that we just set up. This one up here, the Danny DeVito with the sound. But if you want a different GIF and sound to play, if someone resubscribes or gifts a subscription, or a gift, community gift, you know what I mean, then you can come in here and you can edit each one of those, or we can just shut those off, close the variations, hit save, and then we can hit emulate subscriber event.
And then
there it
the
is.
lower sub.
So with that being said, remember that there are different variations for everything that you work with, okay? Followers, there's not. It's just standard one person. But subscribers, tips, cheers, the hosts, raids, all of that stuff is, there can be variations within it. And if you only want one alert, regardless of how many subscriptions or gifts or whatever, you can just click cog, come down here to variation, and then shut off all the variations that are active, so it defaults to what you have set up here, no matter what the subscription is. And same goes for the raid, okay? So if we come down here to emulate and we do raid, it'll default and it'll give just a random number. So there's a variation here within the raid. So I'm going to set the image to my raid image, and then we're going to use, this is the actual, where did it go? This one. This is my actual raid sound. So name, rated my stream with amount viewers. Now, good practice. Always remember, right below your alert message, it has the variables and the syntax for those variables, so you can incorporate them into your alert message the correct way. So name, rated my stream with amount of viewers. Pretty standard, pretty typical. We won't really change that all that much. But we do want to go into variation settings. There are no variations here. So regardless of how many people raid the channel, or if it's one, or whatever the case may be, we don't have to worry about changing up a bunch of different variations for this. Anytime it happens, it will default now, 10, 50, 1. It will default, and it will show exactly what you want it to show. Nanny rated my stream with 9 viewers. Now, don't forget, you can also come down here on the left, and you can change your text settings. So you can do your custom font, Caesar dressing. We can change the size if we want. Come down here, we can change the pulse highlight to be red. Oh, whoa. I clicked white as I said red. What in the bloody hell? There we go. So we'll do highlight is red and then the rest of the text is white. Now let's do raid, just for a test. And there it is. SE rated my stream with 46 viewers. So it'll default because there's no variations to what our initial setup is. So we're going to hit save. Good practice again. We're going to close out the advanced text settings by clicking the little arrow we used to open it. And then we're going to hit the X to close those settings. Okay, so once your alert box widget, this thing that we've been working on, is complete and you're ready to go and you've tested it, your variations are set, follower, subscriber, tip, cheers, host, raids, everything is good to go. You hit save one more time. And then my thing, you can copy the link here if you want to. Don't ever click preview. I think it's broken. It doesn't work the right way. But if you click copy overlay URL, you can get the URL. Or what I do is I go back, so it kind of refreshes the system with the newest overlay that I've created, and it stores it here on my overlays board. I'll come down here to these cogs, and then I'll click copy URL. So now our URL is copied. What we're going to want to do now is go back into OBS. So here we are in OBS. This is our current scene. We'll go ahead and name this start so that No. We'll name this main. You guys already know how to set up a starting screen with GIFs and stuff like that. And if you don't, go watch SLOBS, the tutorial on YouTube I did for SLOBS, because seriously, it is identical to this. You just come down here to the plus sign, you create your scene, we'll call it starting. There we go. Move it up in the hierarchy wherever you want it, like starting is obviously going to be first. And then we're going to come down here in OBS and we're going to click to sources, we're going to click add, and we'll do an image. And you can name it what you want. I'm going to leave it as default. We'll browse, and then I'll come up in here into Fangbone, and then we will go to SLOBS? Overlays? No, that's not the right one. We'll come up here to scenes. There we go. All right, so we are going to do starting GIF. Now, you can do GIFs, JPEGs, pings, whatever you want to do. I like GIFs because it adds some flair to everything. And then we're going to come down here and go to fit to screen, or hotkey Control F. There we go. That is essentially our starting screen right there. You can add a mic to it if you want. You can add desktop audio. You can add, whatever you want to add for, audio mixer and your sound within the starting screen. But as far as we're concerned, this is our starting screen. So we're going to move to main, and we're going to add a source. Our first source that we're going to add, because of this tutorial, is browser. So we're going to click browser source, and we are going to do, we'll name it alerts, because that's what it is. It's alerts. Now, this is what you'll see, properties for alerts for the browser source you just added. What you need to worry about is this right here. We copy the URL. Excuse me, I had a burp. We copied the URL from our Streamelements. So we came here and we click copy URL, and we come back and we click add new browser source, and then we paste the URL we copied in there. Okay, I like to control the audio via OBS, so I always tick this one because it lets me manage how loud the alerts are going to come through on my end. It'll take into account what we set the alerts at within Streamelements, but this allows you an extra layer of control over your audio, so you're not blaring people's ears out. And then with that, we click OK, and there it is. So we can position this anywhere on our screen. Normally my webcam is down here, and I've got some overlays and stuff like that throughout, but my alerts are always centered on the screen, and so we'll center it. And now, to really get the gist of this, I'm going to scoot this out of the way so that you guys can see. I'm going to go back over to Streamelements into the edit, and I'm going to click the preview button, or the emulate button, a couple times so you guys can see. There it is. So this is just simply the browser, and obviously you can center this and adjust it however you want, but that was the follower. Here's your subscriber. So there's a subscriber event, cheer event, raid event. We're gonna let that one finish out. And then here's the raid. So that is how easy it is to incorporate Streamelements overlays into your OBS software, which OBS is what I will be using from now on, is this bad boy right here. This is my, I prefer OBS. I started with it, and it's really easy to use. And it's so similar to SLOBS, but like I kept saying in the all thing this morning, this is like the Android of stream interfaces, whereas SLOBS is like the Apple of stream interfaces. This one has a lot more customizability, a lot more free options for you, a lot more control over everything, but it can get a little confusing. It makes the learning curve a little steep, whereas SLOBS is kind of laid out exactly what you need, and then you just go from there. So one more thing I want to touch on in starting. Let's say we had, let's go to browser, and we'll do add existing because we've already created the alerts, and these alerts are, you can use the same alert throughout the entire scene collection that you have. I would highly recommend that. Don't go creating more alerts, because then that's more API calls that the system has to make to pull all of those alerts down. So we have our alerts here. let's say we have our alerts here, and then let's say you're using trigger fire as well. I'm not going to get into trigger fire. I recommend that if you guys want to use trigger fire, you do some research on it. It is very touchy and a little bit complicated, but it's still wicked cool to allow for rewards to trigger specific GIFs and sounds. But let's say you just have a bunch of browser sources in here that you're using, stream raiders, alerts, merchandise, and you want to group those together. Well, you can come down here in sources and you can add and group. This group we're going to call alerts, and we'll put an exclamation. So here we're going to move alerts into the alerts folder so it cleans it up a bit and it holds it. Now, the difference between OBS and SLOBS. Here in OBS, this category that I created, this group I created, is not individually specific to this scene, this starting scene, okay? If I come down here to main and I want to create another group and I want to call it alerts as well, because there may be some different alerts I have on my game screen aside from my starting screen, and I want to create a group, I cannot create another alerts group, okay? I can add an existing, I can choose alerts and hit OK, and it will drop it wherever it needs to go. If I go to starting and I click on alerts, so that allows you to kind of utilize the same group over and over again, but it can also get to be a tad bit confusing if you have a bunch of alerts inside of this group and you have them sized out and positioned where you want, and then you add a new alerts over here. It very well could move on you. It could take a spin, it could bounce, it could shift on you. Like for example, there we go. So now, whoa. Oh yeah, see, so it adds the entire group. So if we were to just leave that out, no browser source on our main game screen, but we were coming here and go group, add existing, and we clicked alerts, it would bring it up and it would automatically have the alerts inside of the folder that we created. So it makes it super easy to use already created alert groups. However, the only problem is if you have different alerts for different scenes, it could cause an issue because these groups are system-wide, not scene-wide, if that makes any sense. So let's say we had let's say starting had another alerts inside of it that I didn't want on my game screen, and I put it inside this group. When I came to main and I added it, everything that was in this folder from the starting screen would be here, and that could really screw up your stream. And so one caveat, one way around that, and I'm going to get into it really quick. I hope this isn't too confusing. One caveat and a way around that is to rename your group, starting alerts, for example. And that is that group. Now if we were to go to main and we were to new group, we can do main alerts. Create a new one, plop it in. Notice there's nothing in there, there's no browser sources, nothing. But if we were to bring this in, add an existing alerts to it, now this group, this main alerts, is the one that we can use here for our main screen, and then starting has its own group. Now let's say your main was exactly the same as your intermission screen. You wanted the same alerts, everything was the exact same. You wanted everything to be the same. You could create a new scene, intermission, and then you can add a group, existing main alerts, because this is your, every alert that you use during your stream is in that main alerts folder, or whatever you've named it. Whereas in starting, it's limited because it's your starting. So obviously this is per case basis. You may not have any alerts on your starting screen. I just wanted to touch base on grouping in OBS, because instead of this group right here, this starting alerts group right here, being individual to this scene, this starting alerts is accessible and individual to all of these scenes. So you have to create a new group if you want different sets of alerts on each of your scenes. And with that being said, I do believe that is the end of this tutorial. Again, audio mixers are the exact same. The scene transitions are the exact same. Scenes are the exact same, and sources are the exact same from OBS and SLOBS. They're all the exact same. and it should be super easy to just kind of add, again, just a different interface and a different look. Shouldn't scare you too much, but if you guys have any questions, you can hit me up on Discord, DM me on Twitter, whatever the case may be. I'd be more than happy to kind of go in more depth with you. But that is incorporating Streamelement overlays onto your OBS software, or SLOBS for that matter. And last but not least, we are going to come back here and we are going to leave the Fang scroll alerts, and we are going to come down here to chat commands. Wait a minute, there was one more thing that I wanted to touch base on. Oh, OBS Live. Perfect, that's what it was. So over here on the left, you'll notice under the Streamelements dashboard activity feed, there's OBS Live. OBS Live allows you to, so it incorporates your chat feed, your activity feed into your actual console itself, and I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. But the number one thing that OBS Live does is it highly reduces the amount of CPU usage that your machine is doing, working with all of these alerts and the chat feed and everything. It drops that CPU to the absolute minimum it can use, so that you're not pinging the hell out of your CPU or your memory or anything like that while streaming. You get a nice clear cut stream. So you're going to click download, and then you're going to follow the instructions for download. It is completely self-explanatory, no tutorial needed there. If you have OBS downloaded already, come into Streamelements, create your account if you don't have it, and then click on OBS Live, download it, and install it. This will greatly assist your OBS performance as well as stream performance. And then when you come back in here, you'll notice that Streamelements, there will be a new thingamajig up here, a new menu list, and you can come down here to the different overlays and stuff that Streamelements offers. So if we come here to activity feed, boom, it adds an activity feed. If we come over here to chat, boom, it'll add a chat. And you can move these around anywhere you want. You can size them up anywhere you want. You can, you know, change the differences. But OBS gives you the option to completely customize the amount of CPU, the amount of memory, the amount of RAM, whatever the case may be, issue that you're running into. OBS and OBS Live slows it down and gives you the ability to have your activity feed in your chat here inside without ripping your machine to shreds. But yeah, without further ado, guys, that concludes this tutorial. Again, look down below in the in the video, and you'll find links to Giphy that I use for the GIFs that I have in my alerts. You'll find the link that I use for all my sounds that I use for my alerts, and you'll also find where I use to create my GIFs and my images for my backgrounds, like this one right here in the background. And again, if there are any questions whatsoever, please feel free to drop a line here on YouTube, on Discord, on Twitter. Be more than willing to reach out to you guys and help you out as best as I possibly can, give you that assistance and get your foot in the door with getting your streaming set up. And as always, much love to you, and we will see you guys on the next stream.